doing is important. One kilo jẹ́ pé ọjọ́ tó jẹ́ ọjọ́ ìmọ́tótó yìí ó jẹ́ ọjọ́ kan tó jẹ́ ọjọ́ tí gbogbo ayọ̀ láàyò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọjọ́ ìmọ́tótó.
So and people are adapting to it little by little.
Yeah. So the government has actually taken some actions to reduce the use of plastic bags and reduce rubbish.
Exactly.
These are very easy questions. Are you ready? Yes.
Okay. What are you going to do with this section?
Do students get education on these issues at school?
Sometimes, this is, let's say, we can call it a small town, So I can't guarantee that the students are educated about this, issue. But in the cities, I think so.
Why you feel happy now?
So, in your opinion, what can you and the local people could do to protect the environment?
Well, I think what we should do is to educate ourselves, and to bring ourselves together, to make sure we clean our environment.
Start practicing political ideology, and we young ones, we need to start going to politics now.
So, for me, taking part in this campaign is important because I don't know, because we're young, we still can do things in the future, and we really need to change things. It's in our hands to make this a better future for everyone.
We all complain about the system is this or that or this, but we need to go there and sanitize the system to clean up the mess and change Nigeria for better. I think that's just the only advice I have for the young people coming up.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to meet people from all around the world and to be empowered, so to work together, because the world is really falling apart in terms of justice, of so many things. So that I think it's very important for us to meet together and work together.
How long have you been in Nigeria?
Just only 5 days.
Okay, so why are you in Nigeria?
We're here for the climate change, justice, climate peace training.
Okay, so how has it been going so far?
We're enjoying.
Well, in Nigeria we're having this training about climate justice and how to implement these questions about climate justice in the work camps, in the local work camps. And I think it's really, really necessary to hear the opinions about the people from all over the world, because I, as a European, as a Finnish guy, I don't know everything about what's going on in the world, and it's really, really valuable to share the opinions about these kind of really, really controversial issues and what the people think about them.
I am in this training because I'm very concerned about the environment we are living in, not only at home in Mauritius, my country, but around the world. I want to see I want people to have a great look in the environment, to be concerned of it, and I want to share what I've learned in the training.
We have been learned many things about ACI itself, refresh again our mind about ACI, the history. I know each of us have been in some ACI program before, but somehow our memory is something getting low, and then we're doing great on the first day about that.
And to be aware of everything that is going on around the world, and also to find solutions that we can bring in our communities, local communities.
And then the second day we learn about leadership, discuss about what the camp leader is supposed to be, and also discussing how to be the great leader in the camp, and then more take action and somehow analyze how to make this campaign Climate for Peace to be efficient and effective and spread all over the world the issues that we come up with this year.
When I talk of climate justice, what comes to your mind?
That's living a positive lifestyle with nature.
My own point of view about climate change and what we are supposed to do with that, and if we can do anything about that anymore. Those are really big questions, and I'm really interested to know and really interested to hear what the people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different education, what do they think about it. So maybe I can put these little things around my eyes a little bit away, and not see these things so black and white as people usually tend to see things really easily. That's why I'm here.
Climate justice means that we have only one world, and everybody shares the world together. So if one thing happens in one country, it would affect people in other places as well. So we need to act together, otherwise it will increase the conflicts or the disputes among people for certain benefits.
When someone talks about climate justice, what comes to my mind are basically the relations between social justice and climate changes. So now we are experiencing very rapid climate changes, and the outcome of it would be probably the social changes and social injustice.
About climate change, I learned or I understood about the different changes in our environment and the causes and the major contributors that contribute to the climate change.
So for you, what would be the major contributor of climate change?
The major contributor of climate change, I think, the industry.
First of all, I think this is the great place to organize the work camps. Here you can see so much green, and this is the thing I like about Arua. But still, in many places, we found a lot of rubbish, plastic bags laying around. And I think, I'm not sure, maybe this place haven't experienced extreme weather conditions. So they may have not so aware of climate change and climate justice. Besides the practical activities we can do here, like collecting rubbish or practice sustainable way of living. I think it's also critical to have some talk with the local people to share what we have learned, to get to know more about the local context, and to raise people's awareness about the climate change and how we can react upon it.
I think that everyone should take responsibility for themselves, even if every one of us is just a drop in the ocean. If we all take actions together, then it can make a difference for us and for the future generations.
Wow, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I would say that even small things that we may unmind contribute a lot to climate justice. For example, turning off all our running water when we're done at the sink, then switching off lights that we feel we're not using, taking out all the appliances after use, and planting more trees can all contribute to climate justice.
So what will be your message to your students, your neighborhood, your families? What would you tell them about climate change when you get back home?
When I get back home, what I will tell them is that they should know how they dump refuse and how they will bring their industries, and those that want to build their industry, they should build it outside the town, because as we learned there, it contributes, because it's part of the major contributors. It contributes to the climate change of our environment.
I've talked with 1 or 2 locals, volunteers in the camp, and as far as I know, they haven't been so aware of the issue. To them, it's still something very far away. Yeah. So I think it's really important to have some talk with them, to share our ideas, our message, and to get people involved in the fight against climate change.
And what we'll do is we'll ride along the coastal part of the island and meet some local community of these villages and sensitize them to the campaign. And also what we are trying to do is to show us in action, right? We are cleaning streets, we are planting trees, we are transforming waste garden into a peaceful garden, you know, for the children or the localities, the importance of gardening, etc.
So how do you think the work camp participants can approach the locals to sensitize them about climate change and the practices so far?
So far, or I think a visit to local schools would be great, because then we can share our ideas and messages with the students, the young generation of the local community, who would be able to make some change in the future if they have the proper attitude and they could take right actions. And they can also have peer influence on others as well.
Okay, and here's my conception and my perspective about sustainable living.
In our daily life, we actually consume products from all over the world, and we know that this has it leaves something. We know that it has an impact.
It's just like what we're doing in the camp, or trying to create some recycling or reusing things, and just like to make all the resources that all of the resources can be used well, and also we don't waste anything.
In that sense, that the ones you see here, for instance, you have resources, knowledge, lifestyle, technology, and culture. The thing is that only the resources are limited, all the rest is unlimited.
This idea was inspired by what we are doing in this camp, and
the only way that you can actually do something with these things, and lifestyle a bit, but we'll see. The only thing you can do something with it is actually through and then you see the tree, you can share. If you don't share your knowledge, you will never be able to, for instance, meet people, to even earn money or music.
So it is very difficult not to to consume, for instance, local products, only local products, when there are so many products that come from all over the world.
I put in several things, several symbols, both for the food, for instance you have the wine, you have the fishes, you have the things, which we, especially in Belgium, but I can guess all around the world, we can get stuff to eat from all around the world. Whereas these three things, we can actually make them ourselves or buy them locally, these kind of things.
And also here is a symbolization of raindrops. Is we can reuse, for example, like the raindrops raining, dipping from the roof, and we also can reuse this.
But I think there are some behaviors which we can adapt to minimize or to minimize our impact on the planet. So,
and also the waste and the leftover is what we are doing in this camp. It's like we keep sorting these two parts that we maybe for a leftover we can feed them for the animals, or the waste we just put it in the collection box that it won't be that messy. And also
we have this idea that we have to have a car. As a family we need to have one. At the same time there are enough systems in different countries where we can actually share it. I'm not going to say you cannot live or must not live without a car, but if you want to use it, there are other systems than buying. You can rent it, you can share it.
And I was really impressed because our country didn't have that much determination to make every road on the streets and is separated to paths for bicyclers, and I think the idea is very good. Maybe someday we can adapt this kind of conception.
What you were saying about deciphering, like it was making me think the very fact that you have to like turn your head to read it, it's like you're adapting as well, you're changing your behavior, and that's what you're also talking about within that text.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I know that some people are suggesting about eating less meat, and it's not about being a vegetarian or a vegan, but just if it's possible, you can choose to eat more vegetables. And also,
people think we buy food in the shop or we have to grow on our own. Both is correct, but we also have the food sharing. Food sharing can be food you prepare a meal for your family, you prepare a meal for your friends. At that point you're also sharing your food.
And some of the environmental influence are inevitable, but what we can do now is to start our resolution, like we can use second-handed clothes.
Yes, you can follow the latest trend and have always new clothes buying them in the shops, but at the same time you also have like the second-hand ones. And at the same time also second-hand does not mean that you actually have to literally go to second-hand shop. It can also be friends of us sharing things. Yes, there are more and more sharing parties of clothes where people come and go, and it doesn't have to be organized in a way.
Is that here we have the hand, and it's kind of symbolizing the power of the people to take action. But we kept it in pencil for two reasons. Because firstly, we felt that if we went over it with the marker pen, it would lose some of the details and the sensitivity of it. But also because we feel that action isn't being taken. It's not something solid. It's not something really visible and concrete. So we felt that keeping it in pencil kind of symbolized that.
Because you can share everything.
And also trying to use more solar energy board or windmill for our environment. And that's my conception, and hope you all enjoy it. Thank you.
And here you can see some small shoots growing out of the hand, and that's kind of like the beginning, the seedlings growing, and kind of what we felt that's happening here. And I think that was basically the idea we had at first, and then maybe the quotes on why that one.
Then the red thing, which I just use because I like them the most. In the sense that share people does not mean that you have to share your partner with everybody. What I mean by sharing people is by if you have friends and their friends have other friends, try to meet as much people as you can.
It says the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. We've been talking about it together. Lots of people don't do, because of course they think that, or they cannot really do anything that it's actually saving the planet.
And then you have the smiling mask, which is the humor. Humor comes in different ways, and humor comes for different reasons. And also that is a way for, let's say, getting to know people. So, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it's pretty much what we just talk about a lot. Like over the past year, when we were working together for 6 months, we were talking about this campaign and climate justice and climate change all the time, like over dinner, over breakfast, and it's something that we've been always thinking about and involved in. And I think like it's like enough talking and start doing something for us.
Yes.
Ouvir no beira-rio canto ecoar, é a mãe d'água pra te encantar.
So we're walking. Uh-oh.
Okay, go, go, go.
Goodbye.
have studied abroad, I've decided to give my time and my energy for the others. I came in Vietnam and I'm really happy to help as much as I can. As I see it, Vietnam is really a beautiful country that it completely wasted because of the amount of garbage everywhere. Here we can see a lot of trash in the streets and people just throw them without paying attention of all of that. There are not even bins in the street. In Europe we have 3 different kinds of trash and we sort them depending on all the materials: plastic, carton, glasses and all the other dirty ones. People are also paying more and more attention of all the effort they can do to protect the environment. Even if you think that your impact is minor, your combined to everyone else's behavior really affect climate changes. In throwing trash everywhere, you contribute to make the earth suffocate and to affect climate cycles. You also contribute a lot to emit greenhouse gases in the air, which affects the global warming. The increasing consumption of all kinds of new technologies devices also increased the amount of unreusable garbage. Vietnamese people can do a lot to reduce climate changes. For example, they can put all the trash in the bin and learn how to recycle every kind of trash and materials. This effort can be done since a really young age, and children can be educated at school, for example, and learn how to reduce the amount of trash everywhere and push all the different garbage in different bins. People can also try to take the public transport instead of taking 1 motorbike per person, which emits a lot of greenhouse gases in the air. Encourage the public to put some green areas and plant some trees, vegetables a bit everywhere will help to have a pure air and to breathe more safely. I know that it's very difficult to change the habits, but if everyone makes a small effort, big changes can be done.
Climate justice on my ears sounds like one of the topics related to sobriety and the growth of the themes that I'm really involved in. Climate justice is just one of the part of the overall change that should be done if we want this planet to survive.
It's affecting all of us. Maybe right now we don't realize how much, but in a few years it will. So maybe many people will regret not having taken part. Right now that is when it's possible to do something.
About climate justice, I would think about the countries from the south and also the countries from the north, the differences between them, the things that I can do in my daily life, things like that.
Not only the human beings need it, it's about our planet, because we only have one planet.
We know that here in the first world we don't treat nature really well, and it's probably going to have a drawback and all that stuff.
Well, for me it's a kind of new concept because it's not we are not introducing this in the university, in the school, in the classrooms, and for me I am learning something new, that it's supposed that it's not new because the problem isn't start now.
There is only one world, and regardless of whether you think that you have any responsibility or that you really play a part in climate change, it's going to affect all of us, some more than others, but we will all be affected. And so you don't really have the option to sit it out. You don't really have the option to say, oh, it's not my problem, because it is. And if it's not yet, it will be.
Concerns all the people in the world, especially, of course, human beings. And it has to do with their respect for nature.
Developing countries maybe for sure suffer because of developed countries.
They are abusing of the resources on some places, and they
they don't have to live to convive, to live with them, with the consequences that they make these actions, and is a really respectful attitude and also not responsible at all.
We take a lot of from the world, so now it's time we need to give some feedback to the world.
So I think that we usually take it separately. Okay, this is climate change and the problems connected with it, and this is the justice thing and all the social problems and human rights and everything, but we sometimes maybe don't see that it's connected with each other.
If we don't do anything for climate justice, simply the world we are used to live in, maybe in some years is not here anymore. So we have to start doing something, even though it's not a huge thing. Every effort counts.
Actually, what is claimed to be the growth, the continuous growth, cannot be forever, but actually cannot be just for the next few years, let's say 20 or 50 at most. So every people should realize that we have to be more sober and to stop growth, what our politician says that we must have forever.
I think I understand people who live for today, but I think we have to think about the future, and not only when we will be old, but for the future persons who will be here later. If we want them to live and to have a good life, we have to be aware and to do things now.
Maybe just change my personal habits.
Really, I think that people really don't understand how the climate is changing, and it affects all the world, the weather, more disease, more. We are finished with all the natural resources also.
Two very related topics in the future, because as sea levels rise, droughts increase, as well as flooding and all the other natural disasters that are going to be caused by climate change, these will really cause a lot of people to flee from their homes. They're going to cause a lot more refugeeism in the world.
They come from countries which suffer from these changes. So I don't know exactly which family, but they can be also refugees because of some changes in climate. So, or there is no food, so they can't find a job, so they have to migrate.
I was reading about India and Bangladesh, and the Bangladesh and India also, but Bangladesh has a very big problem because of the sea level rising, and also many people migrate from Bangladesh to India, to the state, I think it's Assam, and it causes many problems there. So there's the process is very visible there, and we can see the connection between all these things.
So that would be the connection, and so that's maybe the climate part, and then the climate justice part is how will the world respond to these? How will these refugees? How will the developed countries in particular respond? Will they keep acting like, oh, it's not our problem, or realize, maybe there's something that really needs to be done here?
All that I realize is that when you reach a certain age, you don't believe so much that you can change the world by yourself. So actually I realized that the thing that has to be done is to do each single little step to do something and show people that you are doing this.
I think you're always learning things. I mean, yeah, of course. You learn from the kids. You learn those climate justice things we've done. You learn from others as well. Yeah.
Talk with people how important it is for the future. It's not exaggerate. It's not something. It's not a hobby. It's not just a hobby. It's important. It's for the world. It's for all us. It's not for me and just for my children. It's for all the planet.
I come from a country which has its own guilt about climate justice, I think, because in Italy it's not so. It's not one of our first problems, let's say so, or first topics we talk about. So
I've spoken pretty broadly up till now. I'll take it down to a personal level. I think you could make the argument that the country that's most responsible for climate change is my own, the United States, and it's also a very big center for climate denial, saying that it's not a problem or we are not responsible.
I think there are a lot of activities, a lot of things we can do. One can't do everything. But what I personally do or try to do is that I see that the consumer, let's say consumer society or consuming life is so bad. And I think we should really think about what do I actually need to live a happy life.
Expand awareness in my surroundings with people I know, and everywhere I go to let people be more aware of what has to be done to let just simply our planet live alive.
My daily life, first I'd say that I am vegetarian since a while, then that I cycle like a lot of people in France.
I used to maybe eat more meat, but I will cut down some kind of meal for the meat, and I start eat more vegetables or something, just like something like that.
I'd say there's a lot of things. I do drive a car a lot, but I try to take public transportation when it's available or when it's a better option. Or I'm very big on recycling. I hate when I see plastic bottles getting thrown in garbage cans. I guess in general I try to be against waste, try to promote efficiency, eco-friendly lifestyles.
I try to recycle when I can. Overall, I try to maintain, a good relationship with nature and the environment around me. It serves for something. I think my clothes are manufactured in Spain, so.
To be honest, in my life I don't do so much for climate justice, but I think after this experience I will do a lot more, and that's the main point of this WordCamp, I guess. It's for people that didn't do anything, do something. I guess it's a good result.
Try to do their best for not wasting everything, not wasting food, not wasting clothes, fuels and everything like this. So take public transport. It's good for their health and also for this topic. But for example, for me, it's also the approach when I am in a shop and okay, do I really need this? No, I will not buy it. And also it's maybe
in my house we recycle. I try not to take the car. I always ride my bike or go on foot everywhere. I don't know, I bring my own bag to the supermarket. If I've listened something about a label of clothes that there is children working on it, child labor, I don't buy it.
The people, for instance, in my town that is being built on 7 hills, so people think that Rome cannot be run by bike. Actually, in somehow aspect you can, and things like that. Every little thing, recycling, be aware of what you buy, things like that. And possibly talk with people and say, yeah, I reached here by bike, it's not impossible.
We should always try to make things in a fair way, in a just way.
It's only that I work, I pay something that I think that I deserve, and I have it, and when it's gone, I put it away or I throw it away. So, but maybe this product has been in a not fair market, or the origins of are making suffer a lot of people. So what's the price of this product? At least it's not, for me, it will be not the suffer of the people.
I love to wear second-hand clothes, and I normally try to create stuff with materials that I find somewhere. It's just like a hobby, let's say so. It takes less time than normal things I do in life, but still it's something pretty nice.
And then also try to educate more people around me, try to keep people informed, keep myself informed, also very important, because that's what's really going to make a difference, is people accepting that this is really a problem and that something needs to be done. And so even every day, even talking to someone who is saying that they don't think climate change is real, or they don't think it's caused by humans, try to engage those people really.
Maybe I will recommend. I know it's not possible to see lives of these people, and I think that everyone then could see how it goes in their life, and that they could really think about it more now. That not everybody is so happy that they are. Maybe they just didn't realize it.
I think now is a time we need to do something to become as a feedback to the world.
Live more locally, if I can say this. It means buy products which are near my home or something.
Just be aware, do the best that you can do. Every little thing, every little single thing that you do can change, not only the planet, but also the future and the behavior of people that is following us in the future. And we do hope that it will be a future for us.
And what I would recommend would be, first of all, to take personal steps towards climate justice, because it's not just the state's fault or like government's fault, because each person is part of a country, each person is part of a planet, and if I use every day my car and I'm alone in my car, it's probably a disaster on the long run. So
we had a fair trade breakfast, so everybody could bring the blankets and some local products, and it was in the park. It was very nice. So also this is kind of an awareness thing. So the other people maybe can think, oh, well, this is interesting, and maybe there's something right in it. So yeah, that's it.
And to really motivate change in our own country, and of course I think it needs to happen in every country, but right now I'm speaking for my own. So I think maybe a sense of guilt to an extent, but also a sense of we can do better.
So if we start with little things, maybe tomorrow it could be a little big, and if we spread the word, try to educate people, we will definitely do some change, and hopefully everything will go in the right way.
Thank you.
First of all, personal steps, and then of course a sensibilization somehow, like trying to communicate with other people. But it's not a question of being crazy about climate justice. It's about our future. It's about my future, my children's futures. If I have children or my friends' children's future, and this is, I mean, I don't think they deserve to live in a world which is destroyed by previous generations. So it's high time for us to give a change and give a chance for a better future for everybody. That's all.
Right now we're at the Naturkunde Museum in Berlin. It's very interesting. I'm very excited, and this museum is very different from the ones I had been before. Especially it's all alive about climate change, and devoted to nature sections were very interesting for me with its different interviews, how climate change is different in different countries.
I like the idea of learning about climate change and peace, and that we're gonna learn here not only about we're gonna not only learn but also practice, and after that we can do another work camp where we're gonna practice even more.
How do you think climate change impacts biodiversity?
It depends on, but I think there will be negative changes because biodiversity is really important for the whole planet, and due to climate change this will decrease definitely.
I think climate change is a catastrophe that we brought in this world, and maybe our future generation not will see the planet that we saw it now, and I think like that, yeah.
I want to live the life where people are in harmony with nature surrounding them.
I prepared a project. I thought about the climate change and how I can help to stop it.
They're dying out because of us humans. I think we could change that.
We do a lot of harm for the nature without thinking about that. Just we just think about everyday, daily life, about what to buy, how to live, where to go, and we don't really care about globally, about the nature, about as we say, Mother Earth.
There is stability being connected to the earth.